Clear and Present Danger by Tom Clancy. I don't have the words to adequately convey how little I like this book. I'm giving it 2 stars overall only because I made it to the end, but believe me when I say I'm being generous. There are so many aspects to dislike. First of all, be prepared to be blasted by countless acronyms and jargon you'll never remember. Get ready for descriptions and details about things that are totally inconsequential. They don't push the story forward, they don't tell you anything useful, they're just there, minute after life-sapping minute. And then there's the story. I can't for the life of me figure out why this novel was chosen for a big screen adaptation. It's confused and confusing, jumping back and forth between scenes with no warning. If this were a physical book, I imagine that there would be 3 asterisks in the middle of the page to denote that the scene has changed. But with this audiobook, there's a barely perceptible pause. So, a scene that contained characters X and Y talking suddenly becomes a scene that includes A and B until you realize that no, it's not 4 people, it's only 2, and the setting has changed. This is particularly confusing when the new scene starts off with a line of dialogue and you're left wondering what on earth is going on. And the narrator doesn't help, as explained later. The story has many strands, several of which don't seem important in the grand scheme of things. With the capture of the yacht at the beginning, which goes on forever by the way, we are told that this has dire consequences later on, except it never really feels like that. The whole rigmarole of recruiting Spanish-speaking soldiers for the attack in Colombia is pointless. They didn't need to be Spanish-speaking or look local. There are several facets to the story that really serve no purpose other than to add pages, or minutes, to the story. The cast of this novel is voluminous, and despite the excessive descriptions, you never feel like you get to know any of them. And this is where another downfall of the audiobook comes into play. The narrator. He's old school. He just reads. He makes no attempt to differentiate voices. He occasionally attempts an accent. I wouldn't dare specify that it's a Colombian accent, but that is the same voice for all the characters based south of the border. So, because you can never build up a mental picture in your head of what these people look like, and because you have no vocal distinctions, all the characters seem to muddle up in your head. With a better narrator, you would have a clear image in your head of who is talking to whom. That doesn't happen here, so I found my mind wandering a lot. The novel is also full of cliches, including stereotypes, dialogue, and scenarios. As I said, I have no idea why this was made into a film, which isn't a great film, by the way. About halfway through, I watched the film, as I felt I needed to get a handle on who the people were, and it did help to some extent. Seeing the outcome before I reached it in the book didn't really spoil anything, as I was enjoying the book so little. Apart from that, the film differs from the book in some areas. It was made several years later, so some scenes are changed to reflect more modern technology, although it's still pre-Windows 95, so it didn't reveal too many spoilers. The ending of both the book and the film are a bit of a letdown. This is the first audiobook I have put on faster than 2 times speed. Would I listen to another book written by Tom Clancy? No. Would I listen to another book read by Michael Pritchard? Well, I have listened to other audiobooks narrated by him, for example the original Bourne trilogy, not available on Audible, and he was fine for those. His style of narration suited the stories more than other narrators who have done those books, who seemed to be too animated or who gave over-the-top performances. So I wouldn't let this book put me off listening to another read by him. All in all, I'd give the book a 2 out of 5, and I'd give the narrator a 2 out of 5 as well. Have you read or listened to this book? What about other Tom Clancy books? Are there any you'd recommend? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as I release a new review every week. Thanks for listening.